What's up, folks? What's going on out there in the Bucs community? I want to say happy Monday to everybody out there. Welcome to another great episode of Bucs Report, the Aftermath. I need y'all to always lock in, subscribe here, or also subscribe to our Apple Music, also Spotify. We're here to educate and entertain. Again, that's our priority. But number one, the first most important thing is to educate so you know the basics. As always, welcome. We're here. We're going to talk our shit. We're going to talk about, we got a lot of things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the state of the Bucs, the state of the NFC South. We're going to talk about the free agent that we just picked up. Also, Levante David. And just what direction do we see this team going in? With no further ado, though, I want to bring up Coach Slick, our defensive champion coach. Come on, Slick. Get on up here, bro. But before he does, I just want to say this. Bucs Report always tells you how it is. We've been saying that before so many other platforms, and damn it, I'm still standing on that. Other places like Pewter Report, Joe Bucs Fan, all of them, fantastic podcast, fantastic people who go out there and talk about the Bucs. I always like when people talk about the Bucs. But you heard it here first. Bucs Report, the Aftermath. We've told you how it is for years. So I'm just going to be out there and say it. What for 9 times out of 10, what you hear for what they report, we've said it already. We theorized this years ago. But again, no further ado. Defense champion coach right here. Resume speaks for itself. What's going on with you, my man?
Man, we're getting into preseason for me now. So just doing my last bit of scout, getting ready for this team. I've faced this team many times, but with a different organization. So it's going to be interesting that how much they've changed. They didn't look like they changed too much. They seem to have a new go-to guy, but they're very old school in their mindset. They're a wing T team. So
yeah. Well, how do you feel about your squad right now? You know, I'm sure the morale is up. Y'all, the champions, basically. Are they ready to come out there and kick ass or what?
Yeah, to be fair, we've got some absolute dudes. We had a preseason scrimmage with another team, and this is the team that we went up against was a really good team, and we had our own all the way then. So it was very even. If we were to play a game, because it was a scrim, you don't really know what the score would be, but you kind of look at how you win the scenarios. And I would say, athletically, we were there. I think the part where we kind of failed was clock management. They were so much better at understanding the situation. That we played situational football, so that you'd be like, right, guys, you got the ball, you're up by a point, you need to starve them of the ball. So your whole goal is to burn the clock kind of thing. They did a much better job of controlling those kind of scenarios than we did, but that's more on coaching than on players. So.
All right. Well, see, you heard it from him. Did you hear that, Buck fans? It's coaching, not just the players. They both go hand in hand. The coaches are the people who are responsible. They're going to be the ones that give you the blueprint of what a player is supposed to do. And I'm glad we're speaking on that because Logan Hall just talked about this today, Slick, about being used the wrong way. And he used the word metonymy. I think I said that right. So basically, he wasn't being used correctly. Now, it's a lot of shit riding on this season, not just about the Bucs, Slick. It's the 49ers with Mike Evans, the Steelers with Jamel Dean, and now the Texans with Logan Hall. I swear, Slick, let's say, well, Mike Evans, I'm not going to count him because he's going to be Mike Evans regardless. But let's say Dean is a Pro Bowl corner. Let's say if Logan Hall gets 7 sacks. Tell me if that will not be a major indictment on Bowles being this so-called developing defensive guy.
Any defensive player that looks better than they did for the Bucs is an indictment on how incapable, or no, I'm going to say incapable. I'm going to say incapable for two reasons. Incapable for the development of the talent. Now, you got to remember, it's not just him. Most development comes from the coaches, but who picks those coaches?
Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles picked those
Todd
coaches.
Bowles will. So if he feels like his guys aren't developing the way they should be, he should be looking at other coaches.
He should be.
It's as simple as that. If they haven't got better, and he knows that they can get better, he can see that they can get better, then either he has his head in the clouds and hasn't got a clue, or he just doesn't want to. And it's as simple as that.
That is just, yeah. I'm glad we're talking about that, because that's an important fact. Every time when Bucs Report, people like you and me and the dude, we always explain, hey, just because these players are saying these glorious things about Todd Bowles on TV, mind you, it doesn't mean that everything is all what it is. We told y'all there's a reason why they call it professional talk, or it's TV talk, as my man Slick would say, fluff. You don't want to start shit. They don't. The media people, a lot of media people don't like to realize this. They're the enemy for a lot of things, because they just want to spin shit to their own narrative. So NFL players are not going to give you that. But once in a while, we get an idea when we see the sidelines. I've always said, like, a lot of times you can determine the identity and the tone of a team by looking at the sidelines. Who is ready? Who's locked in? What's going on? Is the coaching staff one with the team? We saw third and 28.
I would say the old guard of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as in the guys that were there when Coach Bowles first got there. I think they're all locked in on Bowles, and I think that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think the newer guys coming in aren't so much, and I think that's the problem. I think it's not cohesive enough of the whole of the defensive unit to be in on it. You know, we talked about cushion coverage and why that's coming in, and so many people have tried to work out going, well, Bowles' scheme's quite complex, and it's that. Then Bowles has said, well, my scheme's not actually that complex. It should be pretty easy to get. So then a load of other questions come up, because for me, it just kept on, it opened up more questions when he said something like that. It's like if he turned around and said, oh, I don't believe the guys can execute, haven't got to the level where they can execute what I want them to execute yet. I can kind of understand. I can understand where he comes from. It doesn't mean I have to accept it, but I understand it. So my next question is, well, if they all can do it, why are you playing such a vanilla kind of defense? I don't understand. Like, you got the dogs to fucking do. The dogs can do the tricks, so why not use the tricks? It doesn't make any sense. Now, I do believe people like Levante David are Bowles, and I think the reason he's so high on Bowles is, I would say, some of the best production that he's had is through Bowles. Secondly, I think they're birds of a feather. I think they kind of get on quite well. They're very similar in mindset and their demeanor as well, because Levante David's not a very emotional person, nor is Bowles. So I think they click quite well. And I think that's more of a personality fit rather than this is the best coach I've ever had. But he has really spoken highly of Bowles throughout since Bowles got there. And that's fine. Look, everyone has coaches that get on well with them, and there might be coaches, that everyone has coaches that piss them off. It's a different relationship. But we know, me and you personally, and I know you do, because me and you had that conversation about what happened in Tampa with a certain player that is now going to be nameless, about what, kind of echoing what we're saying, that it feels like he doesn't really believe in the team. There's stuff that's come out there's too many walkthroughs. There's stuff that's come out that's, when you're a veteran, I bet like Levante David, walkthroughs probably don't bother you too much. It means you get to rest up and it's an easy day. But for guys who are hungry, who want to get better, you're not getting better. You don't always get so better at a through walkthroughs, especially if you're doing too many. Walkthrough Wednesday, one day dedicated to it, I'm down with it. Walkthrough scout, walkthrough scheme, I'm cool with that. But you can't have too much of that shit.
You can't have too much of that. And it's also, I think personally for me, it's like it's a laziness, because at this point you're not there yet. This is not a Super Bowl team. You want to keep these young men, like you said, the younger guys, hungry. It also breeds accountability. It also breeds that I'm here to work. Nobody is going to get the day off. Yes, guys like Levante and Evans, they deserve that because they've earned that right. But for me, Slick, if you're not there over 8 years, we're not doing just walkthroughs. We're going at it. We're going to make shit happen.
Sprinkle in your walkthroughs. You can have some walkthroughs in there. That's fine. But maybe you use it in the middle portion of your session.
Right.
So the guys have gone hard. Now they cool down a little bit. Get them warm back up. Back into something tough and hard. Something competitive to finish the day off.
Yep.
Something of that mindset. But yeah, I totally agree. I think when the stuff that's come out of the Bowles camp, and he's obviously Bowles has got to defend himself because he's got no choice. You know, he's got people coming out saying, "Isn't it funny that people like Christian Isian and all those kind of guys are kind of disappearing? Maybe these are the guys that were saying this kind of stuff."
I think so. I agree. I just think that we just saw too much of we heard one thing, but then we saw the outcome on the field. We've been talking about this for years, and here's what makes it funny, Slick. Remember, people always say it's the pieces. We've seen many different pieces as long as we've been on Bucs Report the Aftermath. So what does that tell you, ladies and gentlemen, and Buck fans out there and people who love football? It's not the players for the most part anymore. It's this scheme. And speaking of Levante, man, look, the Bucs signed Christian Roseboom from the Panthers. He is a Buccaneer now, young guy. He had, I think, like over 100 tackles last season. Now, does that move the needle for me? No, but that could be an indication, Slick, that maybe Levante says, you know what? I'm done. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm finished. Like, maybe I don't see him going anywhere else as a Buccaneer, but this is something where I do think that people have got, like, it's a mixed bag because one, I want him to make up his mind because what he does, Slick, can determine how we go within the draft. In my opinion.
100%. But here's the caveat to it. If Levante David's out, I have less hope for this season. And I'm going to tell you why. Yes, Levante David has been the Buccaneer signal caller for the better part of his entire career.
Yes.
They've never been able to take the signal calling duties off of him since he's been a Buccaneer. So when you take that away, you are now going to have to find new signal callers who can do the fucking job. Now, we do know that anyone that joined the roster before, as in was on the roster with Levante David's pre these current signings, couldn't do the job, otherwise they would have. They would have been a signal caller and waiting, so they would have had moments of signal calling in games. They haven't. Yes. So usually it's safeties and linebackers that tend to do it. Mainly your middle linebackers, outside linebackers if they're backed off the line of scrimmage, not really edge rushers. Those kinds of guys are the ones that call the defense. Seeing as that they've never given it to anybody else tells me that there's nobody on the team at that point. So maybe one of these two guys, Alzoni and Rosenboom, maybe they can do it. I don't know, but it does worry me slightly going in with a guy who had these guys who may or may have not called defenses before, or expecting them to do it and they've not done it. Plus, if bowl schemes as complicated as everyone makes it out to be, does that add a layer of how hard the play calling is? I don't know, but
yeah, I catch your drift. It does make a big difference because now you lose that veteran mind. It's not we're not bringing Levante back for his athletic ability. We're bringing him back because of his mind, what he can see out there on the field, the schemes that he can call, and he can make those splash plays once in a while. Now I look at it like this: if he's gone, Slick, now people would say go draft a linebacker. No, go get an edge rusher. Go get somebody. We're going to have to win, I think, in this draft, Slick, and if the Bucs want to have any shot at being a dangerous threat in the playoffs, first things first, we got to win with bodies. Slick, we're not – I don't see us drafting the next TJ Watt or something of that nature. We got to win with depth. Like, okay, These guys can get things done. As you've always said, you wouldn't mind having a season where 5 guys have 6+ sacks, because that means there's different pressure on different sides and different players. So that's why I do think that if Levante is gone, go get an edge rusher. Then you go draft a linebacker in the second round. Then in the third round, get a defensive lineman, help out Vita Vea. Then get another edge rusher. We need to be walking away from this draft Slick with either no less than 2 edge rushers. No less than 2.
I agree. I think we got to come up with something. Maybe one in the later rounds, one in the early rounds. It depends on how the draft falls for you as well, right? So you just don't know what's going to pop up. Just want to address a couple of these messages. Bringing in a pair of vets. Icewater Olson, one of our writers at Bucs Report, bringing in a pair of vets does make me feel like they'll be fine replacing Levante David as the green dot. And yeah, they might feel fine, but we've had multiple linebackers next to Levante David, and not one of them's been given the green dot. So that fucking tells me that either we're really bad at drafting linebackers that can command the stage, or Levante David's just that good at it. I don't know.
I think, Slick, to be honest, we draft one or the other. We can draft. It's very rare. Well, again, it's very rare to draft a dual threat linebacker, but I think for us, we've been drafting very good run stopping linebackers, because that is a key element to Bowles' defense of stopping the run. It's just when it comes to getting that guy that can be the coverage specialist of the group, we have failed miserably. So that's why I always think, Slick, in my opinion, Light has got to switch it up this year. You got to get somebody who's better at pass coverage. Don't worry about the run coverage, because as much shit as we give Savassier, he's good at being a run stopper or a blitzing guy. Go get you a linebacker that can cover. One where you don't have to sacrifice your bodies every time, and you can keep somebody out there. That's the biggest thing that I think, Slick, that's going to have to change for this draft. And we're going to be talking about this, Buck fans, much later on down the line as we get closer to the draft. But it's very imperative that Jason Light strikes gold in the first 5 picks. Now, I know, better yet, I'm going to make it better. I'm going to make it better, Slick. The first 2 got to be diamonds. Then the other 2 got to be gold. And then the other one's got to be a silver, something. Here's why. Like, that defense, you know this. If you were the Glazers, Slick, what would be your thing that you would tell Bowles the first 7 weeks of the season? Where does that defense need to be, in your opinion? If you were the Glazers, what would be
it's gonna be in the top half, but maybe a takeaway, good at takeaway. You can live with like a weaker defense, like a weaker overall defense, if the pass is improved, the pass defense is improved, the sacks have gone up, and the takeaways have gone up. You'll live with the fact that you'll give up a few yards here and there, and you rank around about the middle of giving up yardage. But if you can win turnover battles and your pass defense has kind of upped its game a little bit, then yeah, I'll take that. My run game's been a little bit poorer. I can live with that. But what I can't live with is being a decent run team that can't stop a pass to save my life. And I can't get sacks, and I can't get takeaways. But if you add that all together, you end up with like a very robust, a very fulfilling defense that can do what it needs to do.
Amen. And that's all we want. That's the new word, not average, because that's the dead horse. I'm going to beat a dead horse on that. Fulfilling. We want a fulfilling defense. Go out there and do your job. Like you said, you don't have to be, well, in my opinion, I think he does. I think this defense has to be at least top 10, top 5 for Bowles to stick around, because we're going to get to the offense in a second. But I do think that this defense is definitely going to have to be nastier. We've lost that, Slick. We've lost that. Remember in the early years under Arians, and even the last year under Brady, the defense still, especially in the interior, had a nastiness about them. We have lost that nastiness. We've gotten civilized. So this is where we're going to have to get back up, and we got to get some nasty players. Now, I know Light wants the Boy Scouts. Fuck that. I don't want that anymore, Slick. I want a nasty, mean son of a bitch. As long as
on defensive line, you do need to find nasty people.
Yeah, even at the linebackers, I need nastiness because at this point,
but at minimum, you need them. You can't have nice guys. Nice guys.
Yeah, we don't need that.
I think too many nice guys changes the dynamic of your team to a point where they're almost too nice. Like they're too respectful. They're
right.
Not that they're gentle because it's a sport that doesn't require.
We want disrespectful people because now we have
just a little bit, just that little bit. You know what I mean? Like that kind of Warren Sapp. I'm not saying you're going to get Warren Sapp, but someone with a bit of an attitude, someone who enjoys hurting people to a degree.
Yes, I agree. If anything, we need them to play like rent is due because that's what I want them to understand. Rent is due. I want them to understand that without this, you've already, how many times we've said this before? It's like the NFL stands for not for long. You could be working at Amazon. Nothing wrong with Amazon, but imagine going from making $600,000 to making 25 an hour. It's hard out here, y'all. Players, you better get out here and get some nastiness. And this brings me up to my next subject, guys, because we're going to bring this up. The state of the NFC South. One thing that I want people to understand, Slick, the Bucs, we are so envied and hated on. And it's because of us. This is good and bad. Slick, I'm going to just be real. It's our fuck-ups that has made the gap in the NFC South close so soon. Because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, y'all, are still the best team in that division. Slick, if we had Kubiak, if we had Sean Payton, McVay, Shanahan, Mike Vrabel, DeMarco Ryan, fucking Tomlin, this Bucs team would be a 12-win team minimum. That's what's keeping this team from being the upper echelon, even in the NFC, is because the lack of coaching has really crumbled this once promising team. Now, what say you about that?
Oh, I totally agree. I think that there are coaches, especially if you guys have an offensive mind. The world's going into an offensive world anyway, so it kind of feels good to embrace that. The one that you did mention that is definitely defense. Vrabel, big fan of him. He brings a nastiness to him. Yeah. So if your coach is echoing that nastiness, it kind of goes, it rings through. It pushes people to be a little bit nasty, have that little bit of edge about them. I'd say we got some cocky players. We didn't have anyone who's nasty.
That's the thing. I think can you repeat that again? Isn't there a difference between cocky and nasty? And that is what I think a lot of Buck fans don't realize. We have a lot of talent, but we need those gutter guys that are in there to say, I don't have to be the most talented. If anything, I want to knock the talented guy out of the fucking game. I want to put him on his ass. I want him to understand, ESPN is going to be looking at you like, what happened? So that is what we need. The Bucs need a fulfilling coach because, Slick, I have to say this, y'all. Again, a particular fan base group out there, Carolina Panthers, I want you to understand. I want you to get this through your head. You ain't shit. Yeah, that's right. You ain't there yet. Panther fans, don't allow the media to lie to you. Don't allow this season to make you misperceive that you're the next big dogs. You're not. Now, Slick, the Panthers, they did their thing in this offseason. But let's just get back to the regular season. Slick, did the Panthers win? Did the Panthers beat the Bucs in the last game? They did not. So how did they get into the playoffs, Slick?
We sucked.
We sucked, but further yet, the Atlanta Falcons got the Panthers in the playoffs.
Yes, they did.
This is what I want you Panther fans to remember. Another team got you into the playoffs. That's like saying, yo, look at this bad chick I got, but it took another guy to say, why don't you just go with him? You were the pity party. It was, this guy is lonely. Can you be a good friend of mine and go over there and dance with him? And that's all you got was a dance. Meanwhile, y'all pumping your chest like, yeah, I took that home. You didn't take shit home. You didn't even take the number home. So Panther fans, calm your ass down. You still, let me tell you, let me break this down. The Bucs got the better quarterback in Baker Mayfield, top 10 quarterback on the cusp of being elite. We'll talk about that another time. We got the best wide receiver core still. I know y'all have fallen in love with McMillan at Carolina, special talent, but only 1 year. We got the running back field, and we have the best offensive line when we're healthy. Now, on the defensive side, I will give them this, Slick. The Panthers' defense is better. It ain't by a country mile, but it's better. They don't have a Vita Vea in the interior line. They don't have a Winfield at the safety position. They got better corners, but that and they got linebackers, their front seven. But again, Slick, last time I checked, Panthers are bad at pass rushers too.
Yep.
So again, Panther fans, calm your asses down. Well, we won the NFC South. I just told you. The Falcons helped you.
Falcons handed it to the Falcons. Went, here you go, it's yours.
Yes, and that's the problem right there. But that's why, Slick, I blame Bowles. Bowles, you see what the bullshit that you have gotten this fan base, this team into because of you. The slow Panther fans out there really think that they are the next big thing. They're not. Falcons fans, some of them are delusional, Slick, but for the most part, a lot of Falcon fans, the true Falcon fans I know, shout out to a dude named Braves. He said he just hoping that they can get 9 to 10 wins. And he said if Tua can play at a high intensity without getting injured, they got a shot. But he's not talking like they're going to be a 13, 14 win team. Saints, we need more than just one fucking season. Like I said, there are a lot of y'all got a lot more holes than the Bucs. The Bucs got some holes. Pass rush, corner to be determined because we don't know what Bowles' cushion that coverage is. But for a lot of you simple-minded ass Panther fans out there, knock it off. Now, Slick, I know Panther fans, I understand you don't have a lot to root for. Like I've said before, you're 0-2 in the Super Bowl. Like the Falcons, you both lost to the Patriots and then the Broncos. But it doesn't mean that you go out the deep end and talk nonsense. This is still the team to beat in the division. So Carolina Kittens, calm your ass down and get that mercury or whatever the fuck y'all got in y'all boiled barbecue down there, because it surely is rotting your brains because y'all tripping right now. You still have Bryce Young as your quarterback. I want you to think about that. They lost their best running back piece, Slick. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it to you. What is your take on the NFC South? And again, it's still I'm not saying the Bucs are walking away with this. No. Whoever gets to 11.
I mean, if it's this season, until I see what we do in the draft and how Bowles goes about these games and this new offensive coordinator, there's so many question marks. Talent-wise, yeah, I agree with you 100%. I do think Baker's a better quarterback than everyone else in the NFC South. Running backs, I feel like we've got the best running backs in the NFC South as a whole room. Wide receivers, I feel like we're there as well. So offensive line, we're probably in that same conversation. I believe that the Buccaneers in most facets on offense are there. Defensively, we've probably got one of the weaker pass rushers. We're not the weakest, so that's always a positive. Linebackers, we're probably around about the same. Well, I think no one's really running away with the linebackers right now. DBs, we're middling. But when you put the whole thing together, we're definitely, I wouldn't say we're leaps and bounds above everyone, but we're definitely in the conversation of being better talent-wise than they are. And that's not just the Cats or the fucking Taints or the Fady Clowns. It doesn't matter. All of them. But what worries me isn't the fucking talent. It's the play calling. It's all of the other shit that that I don't trust, because that's been the problem.
Yeah.
We should have been winning those. Come on. We watched those 4 fucking games that we played in. We played much tougher teams at the beginning of our season and beat them. And then we go into this lackluster. And me and you were like, this is the fucking home stretch. We're gonna just fucking bang, 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 fucking playoffs, fucking 12-win season, something like that. And we couldn't get it. It just kept on diminishing. And we were letting shitty teams just hang around with us. And they would just hang around until they had their opportunity. They took their opportunity and they beat us.
That's all we're trying to say, folks. That's the whole point that I've been making is that, Slick, coaching, there's a reason why coaching is so important. With the Bucs, like I said, all those other coaches, if you give them the Bucs 12-win team easily. Panthers, you're not there yet. You didn't do anything enough last year. Yes, you beat the Rams. That's beautiful. But then you lost to the Saints twice. So you're still inconsistent. You don't know what Bryce Young can do. Like, we got people right now, Slick, on TikTok, they're like, oh, the Panthers are going 12-5. They act like your defense that you have now is not even better than the 2015 defense. Again, Slick, this is where the delusion comes in. I think they've done very well for defense. But this defense, I think they can carry them at least 7 games. If the Bucs offense, if Zach is just...
I think this is going to be a Buccaneers-Carolina shootout to get to the crown again.
I agree.
I think the Falcons just aren't. I don't think they know what the fuck they're doing.
I mean,
Carolina Panthers have direction. Yeah, I generally think that they have direction and they know where they're going. They look like they look like a team. They act like a team.
Mm-hmm.
They can win games. I'm not too sure about the quarterback. They have talent around them. They've had a running back by committee that seems to get the job done for quite some time. They've always been good at that. Defensively, they're just solid. They're not great, but they're solid. They're one of those teams that you've got to make them go away early. You make them go away early, they'll probably fold. But if you let them hang around, they can beat you. They're okay. They're decent. They're a solid football team.
They're a solid football team. I agree. Saints, I still got to give. They still are in cap hell, so it's not gonna. I'm not worried about the Saints for another 2-3 more years. But I agree. But the Falcons, Pierce, he still might not ever play because of the misconduct. They still Stefanski coming in, Slick. That's going to be different because now they got to learn a new system, which a lot of people still don't understand how learning an entire new system with your offense and defense, how that changes things. Zach Robinson is a big wild card, but I've already said this before, Slick, and I'm going to stand by this. The Bucs offense will have to be the heroes the earlier part of the season, especially depending on the scheduling. But the scenarios that I've seen is that Bowles fucks up so bad, but because of Zach Robinson, we're still in it. And then Zach gets to establish himself, or the shit can get blown up. They might go, all right, we're done.
I'm hoping this new pass rush guy, the new guys that we added to the O-line, the D-line and the edge rushers, they kind of make a bit more of a difference.
I think
the Carolina Panthers, he's got nastiness in him.
He does have nastiness. He's got
the dark side. He can take him to the dark place.
I do like our linebacker that we got from the Detroit Lions. He has fire too, and the good thing is he has leadership qualities. And I do think he could be somebody that can bring the best out of these younger guys that we have. And now we got to see if Walker, our pass rusher from last year from Central Arkansas, is worth the damn. There's a lot of things riding. Now, that's the only good thing that I will say this year, Slick, is that we should be loading up, like I said again, on pass rushers and filling everyone out. I think Broswell, this is his last year. If not, he will not be on another team after this season because he hasn't shown enough to show, well, why is he valuable? But on the offensive side, Slick, if this offense stays healthy, at least 80% of the season, especially with the offensive line, which we fired the conditioning coach, thank God, get somebody else in there, stretch these motherfuckers out, stretch them out the right way. I just think that this offense is Baker. This is going to be the year because Baker knows he's going to want to play for that bag. And Baker statistically was top 10 last year, and he had no fucking offensive identity. I don't think people realize how this ain't Madden, guys. These guys don't just put the game on and then they just pick a play. That's not how football works.
I also think he was carrying a bigger injury down the stretch.
I agree.
If you look, he was a lot more cautious when it came to running out of the pocket and doing stuff, and a lot more sluggish getting out of the pocket than he was. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was carrying something. Look, I like Baker's attitude. I like everything about Baker. Yes, he had a down year last year, but it wasn't the poorest year I've ever seen a quarterback play. If you go and watch Bucs games in the years before Tom Brady, just watch any of them. They're all fucking shit.
I think that's what people don't realize.
Fucking interceptions, or it's just can't fucking do it. Just stalling, and dog shit.
Agreed. Yeah. And that's why I think people just got to understand Baker was not the problem. If there's no Baker Slick, we would have been a 2-15 team. I believe that to my fullest. We would have been a 2-15 win team. Baker is going to be fine. He's going to have protection now. Zach, hopefully, if Zach keeps him out of the pocket like he says he would, I think we'll be fine. Now, if he keeps him in the pocket like Grizzard, I'm suing Zach Robinson Slick for fraud because you lied to us with that damn comments, with that conference saying, well, I've seen Baker and I think he does better out in the pocket. And he does. So Zach has got to channel his inner Sean McVay when he was with the Rams. Get the spread going. Get a fast tempo, fast, high-octane offense going with the West Coast. Use the pass to set up the run. Get Bucky and
got a lot of guys on this wide receiving room that aren't long striders. So hit them short, let them work up the field. I think that's a West Coast spread offense with a few like tight end packages or double tight end packages sprinkled in. Mm-hmm. I think could be really, really good to bounce. And one thing I will always say, I haven't seen it in the last few years, but I remember the last year that Tom Brady was here, you could work out what the Buccaneers were doing before they fucking snapped the ball. You could work out a run-out pass straight off the bat. To a degree, I felt that was the same this year as well. Like they have obvious running formations. And so why didn't you pass out of it just to keep the defense honest? Like, they'll have like extra linemen, extra like lots of tight ends and stuff, and you're like, yeah, you're running the fucking football. I know what you're fucking doing. So run it out the spread, run it out of pro, running it out of different formations. Stop running at it in an obvious I'm going to run the football down your throat fucking formation. Yeah. You know what's coming. So give them the element of surprise.
Yes, and bring these boys out to play. You have a tight end in Culp, guys. I'm always going to fight for this man. Culp is a 6'3" tight end that can run a 4.42. He's a big-bodied guy. A linebacker can't keep up with him, and a corner won't be able to cover him. You just said it. Get those tight ends out there and make them different. Use them. Shit, you got Payne Durham, a 6'6" guy. Let him run a seam. Let him run a straight seam. Imagine a 6'6" guy in the red zone, and Baker could just easily go boop, and that's what we need. Otten at this point.
Could you imagine a double tight end set where one goes deep and then someone underneath it?
Exactly. That's my point.
So you get the one guy to stretch him out, so he goes deep to go with him, and then just underneath him, he digs underneath.
That's all you have to do, guys.
I do it all the time, but what I'm saying, you need that first down. You keep that one in your back fucking pocket. That's a back pocket play. Third down. I just need 3 yards. Dig underneath. The other guy releases hard straight up the field. Easy.
Exactly. And unfortunately, I hear what you're saying, but Ice Water, that's the difference between what good coaches and great coaches can do. You know who people thought was a warm guy back in the day in Terrell Davis? He was like a 7th-round pick, and he didn't even make a big name until he got on special teams. Slick, he made a tackle, and they said, "Oh, okay, I see what we can do with him." And Ice Water, you know this. You know who would have been considered a warm body? Scooter, Scotty Miller. What did Scotty do when he left the Bucs? Not a damn thing. Coaching brings the best out.
Adam Humphries, who played with the Bucs from Clemson.
Exactly.
Absolute fucking stud. for
Yes,
us.
you got to remember this is why you got guys like Coach Slick, who again y'all need to check out on my YouTube channel. It's about Buck and Time. It's called Give Coach Slick an Opportunity. We're trying to bring Slick to the States. I don't care if it's the Bucks or whoever. Let's get him an intern position so he can show y'all what he does. And if you need to check him out, he can give you better insight on defense and how things work. So this is why coaching is essential to developing players, because Ice Water, I can tell you this right now, Sean McVay would have a field day, or Sean Payton would have a field day with Devin Cope. They would. Again, a tight end running a 4-4-2. Man, look.
Yeah, you find a way to scheme a guy.
You find a way to scheme a guy, because that's what you do. And that's, like you said, you Slick, for me on offense, I always want to get the guy, who is that? Because Colt gets out there, everybody sees Otten. Hey, let's focus on Otten. This is the $30 million man who I am expecting big things from, Slick, for $30 fucking million. But then you have Colt with the speed that can get behind somebody, and oh shit, who is that? It's too late. It's a touchdown. And that might seal the deal for the team. Oh shit. Now we're up 14 points. We can sit on this lead the way that Bowles loves to do it. It's a lot riding. It's a lot riding. That's why it's important for this year's coaching staff on any side, Slick, to be honest. I want Bowles fired, but if he can win, for me, the only way he could stay, he'd have to take the Bucs to the Super Bowl. The Bucs defense has to be top 10. Seriously, the Bucs defense would have to be top 10, because let's say if the Bucs did get there, but this offense is top 3, but the defense is like 17, 18. I'm going to go, okay, the offense got us there. I don't want to hear that shit. So there's no excuses anymore, Slick, at this point. Now, we'll see until the draft what he does. But as of right now, the Bucs simply just have to evolve, like you said, into nastiness. Go back to what made us win the Super Bowl when we were hungry. Where aren't you tired of being laughed at? Because now we're being laughed at again. I hope, Slick, that these Bucs players are looking at this as a reminder of this is what the Bucs were just 7 years ago.
You can't take the division championships for granted. Just goes to show. We took the foot off the gas, and look how it turned out.
That's right.
Look how it turned out.
That's right.
We were seconds away from losing that fucking Arizona Cardinals game, for fuck's sake. Let's be honest. Me and you were both there, and we were watching. We were like, "Fuck, that was a close one."
Yeah, if I wasn't
a bit close, that should have been, like, we knew that we were coming off a bit of a beat down, and we just needed to win. But we still should have fucking whooped some ass that day.
We should have.
We started to. We let them in the game.
Yes, and that's been the problem. That has been literally the theme of all last year. And ladies and gentlemen, that's a coaching thing. Look at the Jets game. We were putting belt to ass to the Jets, and then we let gas off the pedal, and then they came back. And it was because of Baker Mayfield's heroics that we even had a chance. So again, y'all, the Bucs still have a shot. Panthers fans, Falcon fans, Saints fans, you still got to wait your fucking turn. And again, the only reason that you even have a shot is because we have a shitty coach right now. But best believe, if we get it together, let's see. But dude, if dude is the dude lurking in the shadows, because it sounds like dude might have something that he want to say. Dude, I'm gonna give you a little bit of time, man. If you ain't got nothing to say, we're gonna wrap this bad boy up. But just wanted to make sure that you didn't. If there's somebody on your shit list that you need to get at. So I don't think there's nobody on this shit list right now. So that's good. That's real good for now. But again, if you guys Slick, I'm gonna give you send you the dates when I get on my TikTok and cook, folks, because it's so sad that people literally, Slick, if you ask them football basics, that's the biggest thing that the Bucs Report, the aftermath, we like to give you is the basics of how shit works. Slick will never tell you LT is the best pass rusher of all time just because he's good. Slick is going to tell you why. Slick is going to give you the meat and potatoes of what did he do, his footwork, what kind of scheme was he in, why was he dominant. Slick can tell you what Rondé Barber did, not just by being a corner, but because of the nickel and what it needs to be done. That's what we. So when I ask you guys on TikTok, what are certain schemes? There's no need to be offended. I just have to know that you know what you're talking about. So Panther fans, when they get Panther fans Slick literally said, "Well, Bryce Young throws better balls than Baker Mayfield." I asked, "Tell me which ones." Well, he throws he throws better shorter passes. Are you sure about that? Then I asked Slick, "Do you remember the throw that Baker threw to Mecca against the Eagles, where he needled the thread between two corners?"
Yep.
I said, "Give me a play Bryce Young has done that in the NFL." Well, I all I'm asking Slick is give me mechanical football answers. Don't give me, well, I believe he's going to do this. I believe that the Bucs could go 17-0 last year if they had the fucking offense and defense together, but that didn't happen.
When you say outlandish things like that, and that's fine, you can say those things. But when you say outlandish things, you've got to have the evidence to back it up and go, okay, when? How? When? To who? No, I just think he does. And I'm like, okay, but where are you getting this information from? Like, that's fine.
Right.
Where are you getting this information from? The one that you'll always one that I always like to use if you ever want to put this one in your ballpark into your thing when you get an Eagles fan is the what's that little sexy play that they like to go on about?
The Philly special. Oh yeah, tush push.
Tush push. Is that under center? Or is it snapped in the gun?
They can't tell you.
They won't be able to tell you because they don't know the difference.
And that's see,
what's the difference between gun and pistol?
It's again, that's why we ask these questions. You got to know the basics of how things work. If you don't, Slick is a nice gentleman, a nice English gentleman. I am not.
Someone's being an asshole to me. Like if they're cool with me, I'm down. I'm respectful. But when someone's coming for me, that's when I kind of go, okay, let me reel out a couple of things that I know.
Exactly. I'm a Southern gent at heart, but for the most part, my unfortunately, Slick, my patience for dumb shit is just super thin. I just go. Sometimes I don't even let people speak because, Slick, I don't like dumb talk. I don't like ignorance because it insults my intelligence. It's filtering my head with bullshit. If I ask you something and all I hear is a booga wa boomba, and I'm just like, what the fuck was that? Because that's what it sounds like to me. If I ask you what a dig route is and you just go, well, you just run inside. What the fuck, man?
How many yards?
Like what?
How many variations of a slant are there?
There's variations of this shit. Yes, a slant could be inside. A curl could be inside. Like, don't say stupid shit and then they get mad. But Slick, this is why there are people out here that just why some people can't get jobs. Because if they ask you to give you the basics and you go, well, I'm just here because I can work. Well, what is it about you that fits this job that we should get you? Because I'm good. Have a nice day. And that's the problem with a lot of people out there, Slick. They don't even realize those are the people that laugh at you behind closed doors. They might smile in public, but when you leave that office or when you go somewhere, look at this fucking moron right here, guys. Can you believe that shit? I asked him.
I don't know. I'll find out for you.
Exactly. I asked the guy, what's the seam route? He said, well, it seems like it can go somewhere else. You get what I'm saying? People just, again, guys, I'm not here to act like I have all the answers. I don't. If I don't know something, I go to Slick. If I don't know something, I go to somebody else and I do the research. That's what you do. You learn every day. But when you don't know the basics, that's all we want, Slick. That's what's fucking this team up. That's what makes me love the Bucs. Slick and I talk about this. It's the foundation that has shaken the ground of the Bucs. Todd Bowles has lost his way. We have explained so many times that cushion doesn't work for the basic reason.
We're using it for 3 fucking years, and it's never worked. It's never once worked. I'd say, actually, I'll reiterate on that point. It worked the first time he used it because no one really ever. I wouldn't say no one ever seen it because obviously cushion coverage isn't anything massively new. But they played a system where they would always rally down, right? But then what people did is they're like, right, when they back them off, we'll just fucking catch the ball. We'll just play lightning quick game, like literally snap, catch ball, throw ball, completion. That's how we'll get you, because that's all we need to do, because your corners are too far backed off, so they can't rally down because it's too quick to rally down too. All it takes is them to miss. And one thing I will tell you this. One thing the Buccaneers do badly is tackle badly in space. So what happens when you back off corners? What's between them?
Space.
So if the Buccaneers have taken a back step on their tackling in space, how the fuck are they going to play cushion coverage if they've got to rally down and make tackles?
That's all we're trying to say, ladies and gentlemen. We're trying to, again, we're here to educate and entertain. And with that being said, we're going to wrap this bad boy up. We want to thank y'all again for checking out Bucs Report, The Aftermath. I need y'all again to subscribe to YouTube, check out Spotify and Apple Music, just in case if you're on the road trips. We got plenty of receipts and data that you guys can talk about. And again, for the most part, what you hear on Twitter, we don't need a blue check to certify us. First of all, if you got to pay for something, it's not the same. We earn our stripes here. So check me out on TikTok, AJ Turn Up. Might be on maybe sometime either Wednesday or Thursday. I will send a notification out. And then, like I said, we're going to bring this man up here one of these days. And if y'all think you know more football than a defensive-minded coach and you've never coached a day in your life, good luck. With that being said, big dog, you take care of yourself. Go Bucs. Peace. You take care, bro. Peace.
Look out yourself, man. I'll catch you soon. Guys, that's the end of the show, and I want to thank you all for tuning in, checking us out on Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you get your podcasts. Please check us out. We do our best to put in the best football knowledge content that we can possibly put together with a bit of emotion from the big man himself. If there's anyone who wears his Buccaneers heart on his sleeves, it's AJ. I'm usually the more cooler-headed one that's a little bit more chilled out. AJ is a passionate dude. Not that I don't have the passion, I'm just not as passionate as him. I love that guy. So that's when you have the bro host with the most, as they say. But on that note, guys, thank you so much. We've got the draft upcoming. Myself, I'm going deep into football mode, going into my first full preseason game before we get ready for the season. Season where we've been promoted to Division 1, and then we'll hopefully go to the Premiership division and see what goes on there. But on a big note, I want to do a big shout out to one of my players that's going to the GFL, the German Football League. He's been signed, so he's going to be a fully paid professional football player. So Stu, my guy, number two in the program, but number motherfucking one in your heart. Got to coach that guy for 2 years and had some great memories together that we put together. So Stu Edwards is my guy, and I will die on that fucking hill. That's my brother, and I wish him all the best with the Spiders this upcoming season, and I hope I get to see some good GFL action with him going. But on that note, guys, let's just see what the Buccaneers do. Maybe Levante David comes back. If he doesn't, it's a whole reset. I say the identity of the defense needs to be looked at, because this isn't plug in and play anymore. When you lose something like that, that defense has got to change. And maybe it changes for the good. Maybe Levante David comes back and we reset to the right way we're supposed to be. That's what I want. The defense has got to step it the fuck up. And now Mike Evans is gone. The offense is going to find a little bit of an identity crisis itself. Who's going to take the Mike Evans role? Or if we're not going to go with the Mike Evans role, what does the whole system? What does the system look like without him? Anyway, on that note, Bucs on me, Bucs on free. 1, 2, 3, go Bucs!